We're about 7,000 feet. Temperature's about 55 degrees. I am smelling just crisp, fresh mountain air right now. And now I'm going to step outside the door and I'll let you see what I see when I looked through my window this morning. So when I start planning my trip, this one's about a 12-hour drive. I usually don't like to go any more than about 6 hours a day. 4 to 6 hours a day for me is ideal if I don't have like a destination that I have to be to. It's just a real nice pace. It's a nice, you're gonna be pulling a travel trailer, so it gets a little fatiguing, a little bit more than driving. I've driven from Palm Springs, California to Boulder, Colorado, 18 hours in one day in a car, and that was fairly doable. That would probably take me about 3 days in the travel trailer just because it's fatiguing. You got to watch everything. You got to be more aware. You're pulling a trailer. You got to, pay more attention to lane changes. It's just a little bit more mental effort, and you're going to get tired faster. So my recommendation, about 6 hours max. If I can break it down to 4 to 6 hours, that's a nice leg of a trip. And so my first step, I'm going to pull out my Google Maps. In this instance, I'm going from Black Rock Campground in Joshua Tree to Black Rock City, about 2 hours north of Reno. And it looks like it's 586 miles. I also want to know what my budget is. So 586 miles, I'm just going to round that up to 600. I get about 12 miles to the gallon. That's about 50 gallons, and times $3 a gallon. Should cost me about $150 one way. Something that I wasn't expecting that kind of blew the budget a little bit. I had my gas mileage correct, but I was planning on gas being a little closer to $3 a gallon, not $5. Are you serious? $5.19 a gallon for premium? I mean, I use unleaded, so $4.91. But really, $4.91? I realize I'm out in the middle of nowhere, and it's probably expensive to get gas out to this location. But when you see gas at a reasonable price, it's always nice to keep your tank full. Probably save you 20 bucks. The reason why you want to highlight this and get it out on your map is because when you get out in the mountains, you're going to lose cell reception, and if you stop for a bathroom break or whatever you decide to do, or you decide to take a detour through the mountains and you don't have cell signal, it's going to be really hard for you to figure out where the heck you are because your Google Maps and your cell phone isn't going to work. I've tried all of the cell service, all the major ones anyway, Sprint, AT&T, Verizon. None of them work very well. I had Sprint and I was out in Maine. We didn't have cell signal. We couldn't even make a phone call for 8 days straight. You can just pick up a map like this at AAA for free. I'm a AAA member. I think it's worth the small price you pay for all the stuff you get. They give you free maps. I don't use any of their planning because I do a lot of off-grid stuff. That's where I'll go to the Bureau of Land Management, the BLM offices, and pick up some of those dispersed campgrounds. But what I'm excited about this trip in particular is that we're going to be going right past Yosemite National Park and Death Valley. This is like a great route. So regardless if I make it to Burning Man or not, this is going to be a great trip, and I'm really excited about it. Here we are. That should be Black Rock City. Another nice thing about drawing it out on the map is when I get here around Monitor Pass, it looks like I can take 395 through Reno and have a little bit more civilization. Depends what this is. This is just like bare desert. That's going to be a little bit boring. So I got my food packed, I got the GeoPro packed, got my course mapped out, full of fuel, and we're ready to hit the road. Giddy up, let's go. A few last things I like to do, check on the camper before I take off. I like to make sure the bike is secure and locked around the frame. If you have a bike of any value at all, it's probably your biggest target of thieves, unfortunately. So even at a campground, that's my Specialized mountain bike, really nice one, got stolen right from a campground in a national park. So You just never know. And it was locked too. They actually cut the chain. So whatever. It is what it is. But just so you know, that's your hot item. And I think it's even better now because the new GeoPros, I think, have a window right there. So people are less likely to steal something if they think somebody's watching. So I travel with my propane tanks on, and I run the fridge in the back. I'll reach in here and shut the inverter off. Going inside, I'll make sure my panel's off, all the electrical is off. I'll come in here with the max air vent. I want to make sure that's off and closed, especially if you're going anywhere that there's gravel roads or dusty roads or just traveling in general. Otherwise, everything's secure in here. I have everything laid down, secured. And last but not least, the fridge is locked in place. For me, water is the most valuable commodity when I'm traveling. It's the hardest to get to a lot of times. A lot of places you'll be able to even find a dump station, but fresh water is not always available. So for that reason, I always travel with full fresh water in empty gray and black water tanks. I always keep my bear spray handy too. I just keep it right in the side pocket of the Jeep. A lot of times you're out in the boondocking, if you're out in the middle of the wilderness off grid, you can be in bear country, and just if you get out of your vehicle, you kind of want to have that handy just as a backup. The route that Google Map routed me on is California 247. I'm headed out towards Landers and Johnson City, right through the Mojave Desert. It is just a beautiful, incredibly beautiful drive. This is the real view that I woke up to this morning. Looks like an absolute postcard. I love these little Starbucks Vias. They're perfect for camping. They taste just as good as regular coffee, and they're like super instant. More than national parks, national forests are my absolute favorite. I want you to take a look at this national forest campground, Yosemite National Forest. It's absolutely free. Look at this campsite. Look at what I have around me. I have Yosemite National Park. Man, I should really have a better camera, because what I'm doing here just doesn't do it justice. This creek sounds amazing down here. I'm gonna go take a closer look. Got my coffee, got my bear spray, got my camera. If I see a bear, I'm gonna drop this camera though. So all of this that you're seeing is like my little campsite area. The first couple trips I did after Renee went back to her corporate job, it felt like something was missing. But how often in life do you get to just spend time with yourself and your own thoughts? I've done these solo trips now, and sometimes I just have the radio off. My phone's being used for navigation so I don't have any interruptions. And it's just me and my thoughts and the peace of it. And then when you pull up and you get a place like this, and you wake up in the morning, this is about as close to God as you can get right here. I can't even describe and put into words the way that a place like this makes you feel. Magical, peaceful. Those are a couple of words that come to mind, but you got to just get out and do this stuff, because this is what really living is all about.